Hi, I'm Graham, and this is Help Me Handyman Graham, the series where I help someone with a custom DIY solution to help solve a problem or make a change in their space. And I'll show how you can do it too, one step at a time. For episode 1, we're helping out Alexandra with a problem that she's been having in her kitchen. If you've been following Alexandra's channel, you know that she's made over every single room in her house, and the one thing she hasn't touched is this IKEA kitchen island that's been left over from the previous tenants. So Alexandra's reached out to me to help flip this IKEA kitchen island into something a little bit more functional, a little bit more aesthetically pleasing, and I'm really excited to get started on this. So first things first, I'm gonna head over to Alexandra's house and talk to her in person and see what's going on. All right, so this is the island.
This is it.
How long have you had this for?
Funny story, it's been here since we moved in, and before that, the tenants got it from the previous tenant. The reason I didn't, because you know me, it's kind of weird that I wouldn't have gotten something custom, but it's honestly because it is so functional. We use this for prep. The thing about the stainless steel though, is that I find it gets really visibly dirty easily. So we have to take everything off and wipe it down.
Okay, and then the wood top.
I like the wood, it's a little orange for my taste.
And then the height, it's pretty much the same as your counters. It could go a little bit higher.
When I'm prepping here, it feels like a good...
Yeah, so don't go lower, don't go higher. Do you want it to be a little bit smaller, a little bit bigger, keep it the same size?
I think keeping it the same size works. I wouldn't want to go any smaller. The only kind of thought I had was there maybe is a little bit of space, this is your call, to add some sort of shelving on the side.
Okay, so we talked about the functionality of the island. So you're happy with the height, maybe go a little bit longer, but it'd be kind of pointless to make it bigger or something if we didn't change the overall look of it and make it in your style.
Yeah, this is such a huge functional piece that is in the center of our whole main floor.
Yeah.
And I've always just thought it needs a hit of pink or color.
Got the pink and green.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But if you wanted to keep the wood top, I was thinking it would be nice to sand it down so it's a more...
a little bit more pale.
Pale. And then obviously sealing it so I could wipe it down.
Yeah.
I'm also open to tile. The colors I kind of want to stay away from are green because there is so much green in this kitchen, which I love, but I think it just needs a bright, fun color, whether that's through tile or paint or sanding it down to be more muted. I'm open to really anything and everything.
Okay, yeah, this is a really great start. I think we have a lot of information here to get going on this.
I don't think I've ever been on the receiving end of a surprise. When we're doing makeovers and you do your amazing DIYs and I count to 3, I generally know what it's gonna look like.
Yeah, of course.
This, I don't really have any idea, so thank you so much for helping me.
Oh, my pleasure.
This is a project that I have had in my mind for many, many years, and I can't believe it's finally getting tackled.
That's why I'm here. Okay, so I'll see you on reveal day with a whole new island.
This is so exciting.
I'm very excited.
I'll clear up all the stuff. Oh.
Pleasure.
It's a deal.
All right, I'm taking the kitchen island back with me to the workshop to get started. So now that the kitchen island is back in the workshop, it's time to put some ideas down on paper and see what we're working with here. So I'm thinking I'm gonna tile the countertop of the kitchen island. I'm gonna make some doors with some arched fluted glass cutouts. And I'm gonna make some new spherical wooden legs out of some scrap wood I have at the workshop. I'm probably gonna get some decorative knobs from one of Alexandra's favorite stores in the city, V2V. And I'm gonna make the shelves pull out so that everything is a little bit more accessible because bending down to that bottom shelf is pretty difficult. And of course, Alexandra's always impressed whenever I use some LED lighting, so I'll throw some of those in the shelves too, just to light up all the items, because it gets kind of dark under there, when you're trying to hunt around for things. And if I have time, I'll probably make a towel rail. I noticed that in Alexandra's kitchen, she had her oven mitts and some towels just hanging up on a hook. So we'll probably put those on a rail just to tidy everything up. So first things first, I gotta go source the towel because the color of the towel is really gonna influence the other colors and materials used in this project. All right, we're off to the tile store. We're gonna see if we can find some tiles that are in Alexandra's style. We're not going to your standard home improvement center because I feel Alexandra doesn't really give typical home improvement center vibes. We were going to a specialty tile store instead. Because some of them look great on the wall, and you have to think about what they look like flat without it looking like the bottom of a shower. This is really cool. So I'm thinking we're gonna be going for more of a square tile rather than a rectangular tile. Something that with just a little bit of texture, maybe something with a pattern of some sort. will kind of like make it a little bit more interesting. Yeah, I was thinking like these ones are pretty nice, like in her style. Like it's a muted pink, which we know she loves. All right, we've done a lap of the entire store maybe like 10 times. And I think I've settled on this one here. Like we know she loves Moroccan tile. The inconsistencies, the imperfections, it's like very much right up her alley. So I think we're gonna go with this one. I think it's the safest bet.
All right, let's go buy it.
All right, we're in the workshop. We got the island here. I'm gonna leave the tiling probably until the end because I'm gonna be doing a whole bunch of stuff to this island and I don't really know the size that the countertop needs to be yet. So I'm gonna leave that maybe towards the end because there's a lot that I can get started on right now. So I'm thinking I'm gonna be putting like these custom made spherical wood legs on the bottom. I don't know if you can see here, but these structural legs here, they go all the way to the bottom. They're solid wood, which is really great, but they taper right here. This taper at the bottom is not gonna look very aesthetically pleasing. So I'm gonna chop the legs off right here where this crossbar goes, and then I'll make those legs that exact dimension that I take away. I think first things first, gonna chop off the legs. So I'm gonna close in the sides of the kitchen island first so that we can have some closed storage. So I'm cutting up some 5/8 inch MDF and fitting them into that empty negative space. The panel's not really quite fitting 100%, so I'm using my router and a flush cut trim bit just to try to make it look more intentional. I'm using some screws to secure it into place and putting some wood filler over top of the screw holes. The next thing I'm gonna start on is the doors. I got some 3/4 inch MDF here. Just kind of gonna rough the doors in place and then I'm gonna cut the arch into them. I'm cutting the doors out of a 3/4 inch panel of MDF and then I'm cutting it to size using my table saw. I'm boring the holes for the hinges using a Forstner drill bit. And I'm just roughing in the hinges with some screws. Oh, hell yeah. Wow. So there's like about a 1/16 of an inch right there. That is crisp. Very nice. All right. I have 2 offcuts of this glass from the office makeover that we did. It's a little narrow, but I think it's gonna work for this. I think I can actually split this in half. Oh. And then we'll just arch it. I'm using the cut glass as my template for the doors and just tracing it onto the panel. I'm using my router with a router jig to create 2 perfect circles on the backside, one for the glass to sit inside of and one for the actual window itself. If you guys are using a router jig at home like I am, just be sure that you're going in the proper direction against the cutting blade because if you go with the cutting blade, it tends to want to like tear out of your hands and it can damage the material you're working with. So I'm cutting out the shape with a router and a straight shank router bit, and I'm just increasing the depth a little bit at a time because I don't want to take all the material away all at one time. I'm speeding up the process by using my jigsaw to cut out the remainder of the shape. And using my flush cut trim bit just to remove the remainder of the material. This looks awesome. It's like the perfect arch. Look at those crisp, clean lines. On the back side, we got that groove. So the glass should be able to just slip right in there. So I'm just gonna do the same thing I did to the other door. I don't think I need to show it again because I already showed you how to do it the first time. But I'm gonna show you how to cut the glass that's gonna fit in this arch. So I'm just gonna cut this door and I'll be right back. I've got the piece of glass just superimposed on top of the arch shape that we cut out. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take a marker and I'm just gonna draw the arch shape on the back side of the glass. I'm not making it the exact same size. I'm making it this line a little bit smaller than the shape because I don't want to cut down this perfectly cut arch more than I have to. Got my little glass cutting tool. I got this on Amazon. And in one swift motion, I'm just gonna back up off this edge here. Okay. Without stopping and without going over the etch more than once, I'm just gonna do one crisp, clean line over that marker line. Okay, so we have this arch shape, and glass doesn't like to break in circular paths. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have these straight lines come off this arch shape all the way across. And what that's gonna do is just gonna allow the glass to break in those straight lines all the way around. And it's gonna minimize the amount that this glass has to break in an arch shape. So starting from the etch line, I'm just gonna go to the edge, maybe every inch and a quarter, inch and a half. And I'm just going out to the edge, making sure not to go past that etch line. Now on the back of this cutting tool, it has this little metal nub. Can you see it? You can also use a screwdriver, anything that's kind of medium weight metal, nothing too heavy duty. Because what we're gonna do is with that metal nub, I'm gonna tap on the back side of the glass. So not the side that we etched on, but the underside. Just some gentle taps. I'm just trying to create a fracture that's through the thickness of the glass. I'm just gonna help it along a little bit. It's a little bit tougher with reeded glass because it varies in thicknesses. So it's a little tricky, but once you get past this, it's all good. Okay, wow, perfect. Okay, it's just that one piece that was giving me some problems. All right, there you have it. An arched piece of glass. No cracks. I'm pretty lucky. I just had this scrap piece of glass and it didn't break when I was doing it. In the past, I have broken glass trying to do an arch shape. So it's not very easy. It's also not the cleanest cuts, as you can see there. But that's okay because look, it's going in this frame and the edge is gonna be covered. So, woo, looks good. One last decorative touch to the doors is I'm rounding all of the edges of the door with a round over bit and a router. I'm sanding everything down to 80 grit sandpaper and filling in any holes or scratches with some wood filler. All right, the doors are pretty well done. Everything's rounded down and looks really good. So I'm gonna put these aside and I think it's about time to get started on the drawers. All right, so we got the unit up here. This is where the shelves were before. There's these little white pieces here. In order to make these drawers slide out, I need to mount the sliding brackets onto these pieces here. I told you before, I had a little bit of a surprise or a thought of sorts. And that thought was that I was gonna make these shelves out of plywood and then cover them with the same stainless steel. The thing is, I don't have enough frickin' plywood to make 2 shelves out of. If I were to cut this in half, then it'd be 12 inches. And I don't think that's big enough for a shelf. So I was gonna save this topper that was on the countertop for this thing. But I'm thinking it would look so good if I were to use these for the shelves because Alexandra said the stainless steel is a little bit too hard to clean. So I'm thinking why not reuse this beautiful countertop and we'll make the drawers out of it. I'm gonna cut this down on the table saw. Because these shelves are veneered chipboard, the exposed edges that are cut with the table saw are unfinished. So I'm cutting some thin strips of the veneer from scrap pieces of the counter and gluing them in place onto the finished shelves. So you won't even know that these shelves were cut. Hey, I got a bit of a head start this morning. Good morning, by the way. I just had to like work out some kinks on my own, like without recording on camera, just because it's a little bit tricky, but look at that. So that drawer is sliding out perfectly. And the beautiful thing about this is that I have these like pieces of counter that I edge banded with the same countertop here. These pieces are just gonna go right here. I was kind of worried that having these shelves slide out like a drawer, like so, you're gonna lose a lot of storage space on the sides. So that's why I kind of finished it as such. So I'm just gonna go ahead and attach the other shelf. Because these are side mounted drawer slides, I had to make a little bracket that goes underneath that the drawer slides can attach to. I'm securing the drawer slides to some scrap 3/4 inch plywood and securing the plywood to the shelves with some brad nails and wood glue. All right, so we got those brackets on the shelves. These are pretty much done. Just gotta like, clean them up and stuff. But I'm gonna put these lights underneath the shelves. So when Alexandra goes to reach into the shelf or pulls out a shelf or something, it'll be illuminated. So I don't know, it's just a little extra touch that I think will look really nice. They're so bright. These are great. I got these for like 20 bucks off Amazon. A pack of 2, comes with magnets on the back. I am gonna route out a channel just so that these are completely hidden because the bottom drawer is gonna be close to the floor. It's gonna be sliding in and out. I don't want it to like hit a pot or pan or something that's like on the shelf. Now I'm gonna move on to the legs, and this is gonna be tricky because I'm gonna be carving some wood spheres either on my lathe or with a router jig of some sort, but I haven't figured it out yet, but I'm gonna show you the piece of wood that I'm gonna carve the legs out of. I actually found this by a dumpster. Someone was throwing it out. I don't know why, but it looks like it's pretty good.
One man's garbage, another person's good on garbage.
I'm cutting the big piece of wood into 4 pieces using my miter saw. I'm making them into 6.5 inch cubes. And just removing any unnecessary material using my table saw. And then carving them into spheres using my lathe. Man, that was dusty. I am just like covered in wood dust. But look, 1, 2. I got 4 of these. These were all roughly the same size. I kind of just eyeballed it. It was pretty tricky, but I also have this template that has half a circle on it. I was kind of putting this up to it just to make sure that it's a sphere. And pretty good, got pretty close. So yeah, I'm just gonna throw these back on the lathe and sand them down. Once the legs are spherical, I'm sanding them down from 50 grit sandpaper to 150 grit sandpaper and cutting them all down to the exact same height using my miter saw. Okay, they're not perfect, but they're all the exact same height now, and they resemble spheres. It's not a perfect sphere by any means. I'm kind of pressed for time right now because I gotta get to tiling at some point. Anyways, gotta keep going, but spheres are done. And now it's time to move on to the countertop. Okay, so I'm just about to cut the countertop out of this plywood that I picked up last week. And I'm thinking like, I can make my life so much easier if I don't have to cut a single tile. That's right, this DIY, we don't even need a tile cutter. Right now, like we have the ability to create this countertop any size that we really want to, which is great because we can have it so all the tiles are gonna be lined up and it'll be full tiles at the edge. So no sharp cuts at the edge. I want every single tile to be a perfect square. I don't want little rectangular slivers by the edge just because I'm trying to copy the previous counter size. First things first, I gotta cut up this 3/4 inch plywood to the rough size I need for the countertop. I'm making this countertop like a shoebox lid, so there'll be the perimeter of plywood that goes around the outside. I'm using some additional 2.5 inch thick strips that go along the perimeter of the plywood, which is just gonna give this some additional structure. I'm gluing and screwing the strips into place, making sure that those strips align with the edge of the countertop as best as I can. Okay, it's finally time to tile. This is gonna be like the focal point of the entire kitchen island. So because I already spent a whole bunch of time on the math, trying to figure out the exact size of this countertop so all the tiles will line up and I won't have to cut a single tile, I can just start from one corner and work my way to the opposite corner. I'm applying the tile adhesive onto the countertop with a 1/4 inch notch trowel. There's different types of notch trowels, but you wanna get a notch trowel that is intended for your size tile. I'm back buttering each tile and I'm making sure the tile is as level as can be by just kind of using my fingers and making sure it's level to the neighboring tile. My tip for you guys is don't get ahead of yourselves with the tile adhesive because it will start to dry. So I'm doing 3 rows at a time. Tiling is like a funny balance between rushing like crazy and having insane patience. All done. That is it from me today. That was a very long day, very successful day. Got those legs done, got the tabletop tiled, so we're looking good. I still have to make the bookcase thingy and the towel rail, but that's a tomorrow problem. Anyways, okay, good night. As you can see, it's pitch black outside. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye. All right, I'm back in the workshop. It's the next day. I removed all the spacers from the countertop. It looks really great. I'm gonna clean that up in a little bit, but I was thinking about staining these. I just have some stain here. This is Golden Oak by Minwax. Let's see. Ooh, that is really nice. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead, stain these, and then move on to the countertop. I just think that there's so many different wood tones that are gonna be present on this island that the stain's just gonna kind of even everything out. Also just making it look really cool. We have a guest today. I picked up this grout from the hardware store. It is ivory color. I got this little mixing drill attachment. Gonna attach to my drill. We're gonna mix it for 3 to 5 minutes. We're gonna let it sit for 5 minutes, and then we're gonna mix it again for 2 minutes, and we're gonna apply it. When I'm mixing, I always like to use a respirator. So either do this outside or do it with a mask on. Yeah, this is looking nice. See? Peanut butter in the jar. Yeah, it's runny, but not very runny, you know what I mean? It's just that smooth peanut butter consistency. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use this grout float. It's just a foam-backed trowel of sorts. And I'm gonna work the grout into the grout lines at a diagonal. You don't wanna go straight on or perpendicular to the grout line. I'm just gonna start at one corner and work my way to the other corner. Oh, I forgot to mention that I just put some sheathing tape around the perimeter. That's because I'm gonna be putting a decorative wood trim all the way around, and I'm gonna silicone it. So I just didn't want the grout to kind of spill out. So my tip for you guys is to hold your grout float at a 45-degree angle and also be at a diagonal to the grout lines as well. Once you fill in all the grout lines, hold your grout float at a 90-degree angle and just kind of scrape it away like a snowplow. And I'm working in small areas at a time and just going tile by tile. Once the grout's dried for about 15 minutes, I'm going in with a damp sponge and just cleaning up the tiles. And as I'm doing this, I'm changing the water so that the last time I go in with the sponge, it's nice and clean and it just cleans up any grout haze that might be left over. Okay, that was such a big success. It looks amazing. I'm gonna let this dry overnight. I'm gonna go clean my tools and I'll see you guys in the morning. Bye. Hey guys, it's been a couple days. I had a couple days off. I got a bit of a scruff now, and the tabletop is all cleaned up and it looks fantastic. However, there's still the unfinished edge all the way around, and we're gonna make a little wood frame for it. What I've done is I've went to the hardware store and I picked up some dimensional lumber. This is poplar. It is technically a hardwood, but it is a soft hardwood, so it is quite cheap. It grows very fast, it's very sustainable. So I'm gonna trim it down to the right dimension using my table saw. I'm gonna round the top edge, angle the bottom edge. I'm gonna cut them all on the miter saw, glue it all together. Pretty easy, straightforward. So once I have the wood frame assembled, I'm securing it in place with some construction adhesive and some wood screws from underneath. Once the wood glue is dry, I'm applying some wood conditioner so that the stain takes this wood a little bit more evenly. I'm staining the tabletop with a custom blend of stains of red mahogany, early American, and some natural, and I'm applying the stain with a paint rag. All right, now I'm making accessories for the kitchen island.
How did you say that? Accessories. Can we say that? completely?
Accessories?
That's how I say it, but I don't know.
Accessories. Okay, now I'm making some accessories for the kitchen island. Starting with the towel rack, I'm using some scrap white oak I had laying around the workshop and carving it into a dowel using my lathe. For the brackets, I'm making 2 identical pieces out of the same white oak. I'm using my drill press to drill an 1.25 inch hole into each piece so the dowel can slip into place. For the shelves, I'm using some reclaimed wood that I pulled off of an old table I found on the sidewalk, and I'm just cleaning everything up using my thickness planer. I'm bringing them down to the same thickness, and I'm just cleaning up the pieces of wood by sanding them to 120 grit sandpaper. I'm using my table saw to cut them at a 45-degree angle so that I can do one long miter cut to make them into an L shape. I'm laying the pieces side by side, parallel to each other, and just using a whole bunch of painter's tape to secure them together, because that's gonna act as my clamp when I glue them together. All right, these shelves are looking really, really nice. I'm gonna do all the ceiling at the same time, just while I have the polyurethane out, I can just kind of do everything. So now I'm thinking we're on to painting here. It's incredible. This is like almost the last step. We just have to scuff sand, prime, sand, paint, install the legs, install the glass, install the drawers, install the doors. But we can do that all on site. So I think just like priming and painting, staining and sealing is all that we have left here with this project, which is incredible. I can't believe we've made it this far. The end is within sight right now. I'm gonna get going on scuff sanding and priming, so enjoy the footage. For the shelves and the towel rack, I'm using the same stain mixture that I used for the wood trim around the countertop, and I'm applying 2 coats of a satin polyurethane so that all the wood is super durable. Next, I'm priming all of the surfaces that are gonna be painted with some shellac primer. Okay, so I've done 2 coats of primer on all of the IKEA pieces. I've put some poly on all the wood. I think it's time to start painting. So I've got a couple different paints that I've pulled out of the cupboard. So this one is Flax by Benjamin Moore. It's got quite a bit of gray in it. It's very muted. I think it's gonna be like a really nice, what's the word I'm thinking about? I think it's gonna be like a really nice complement to the wood tones and to the tile. I've also got a lot of it as well, which kind of helps. I'm applying 3 coats of Flax by Benjamin Moore in a pearl finish. All right, here goes nothing. Oh yeah, no, that is nice. This is one of Alexandra's favorite pink colors. It's like a nice muted dusty pink. Hey, good morning. It is another day, and I don't even know how many days this is spending on this DIY. It is now Friday, and I cannot believe that like we had this deadline for Monday, and we're at this point now on Friday that I can actually get everything finished. The paint is looking incredible. Look at this. This beautiful, it's like a muted shine. It looks beautiful. Everything has turned out really nicely. So first things first is to install the legs. I'm securing the feet into the kitchen island using some wood glue and tapping them into place with a mallet. I'm gluing the glass into place with some clear silicone. You can use different types of adhesives here, but I highly recommend silicone just because it really does stick to glass super well. All right, it's reveal day, so I gotta head over to Alexandra's place, install this, and do the big reveal. Okay, hi, we're at Alexandra's house, and I have all the pieces inside. She is currently upstairs with Noah and the cats, and I'm just gonna start assembling the kitchen island in the kitchen. All right, it's completely built, it's in place, it looks fantastic. Now it's time to go get Alexandra. Why don't you just like describe what the kitchen island looked like before?
Okay, so it had a wood top. It was kind of like an orangey wood, white base, stainless steel shelves, in perfect condition. It just didn't feel like me from like a design perspective, and it was like the last thing in our house that hadn't been customized in some way.
And so like taking that, like what you wanted,
Yeah.
and like knowing your design, I
Yeah.
like kind of like created something really custom, like
Okay.
with your design in my head. So like
Okay.
I was like, what would Alexandra do?
I actually feel the pressure of like what our makeover recipients feel about a reaction.
Don't
Like
feel
I'm
the need
like,
to perform. It's just
I know, okay.
on the count of 3, you can open your eyes. Ready?
I don't know if I'm ready. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Graham! Oh my god! I actually feel like I'm gonna burst into tears. Oh my god, Graham! Holy
Thank
shit,
you.
this is amazing. Oh my god, the bow knobs?
Yeah.
The lights? Graham!
I'll walk you through. Okay, so we mentioned like fluted glass and like arch shapes, right? Like you love your arches. What I did was I took the countertop and I made it into the shelves. And the shelves come out because you said that it was like kind of like hard for you to like get under. So they both pull out, and then yeah, it's the same cool lights that we've used before.
It melts.
It melts, so they're just on auto, so it's just motion detected, and they're just battery powered, so you can just recharge them. They just pop up there.
Is this bigger, the top? It feels like there's more space.
Yeah, so the top is a little bit bigger, only because
Wow.
I like didn't want to cut any tile.
Sorry, I'm like actually speechless. This is beyond. The legs.
So the legs
Graham.
came from like a piece of wood that someone had thrown out. So you want storage for books, and so this way, I don't know, you can like showcase your favorite cookbook or something. And I got this wood from a table I found on the street.
I like could not have imagined this is what you were going to create. I know everyone says that, but like this is insane.
Well, then there's like a little towel rack here, so you can like hang your towels.
Oh my gosh. This is gonna be a game changer. The fact that I can now pull these out
Yeah.
is like huge for me. Okay, I need to like stand back and look at it from here. Wait, don't look. Close your eyes. Okay, open.
Just open?
Just open.
No countdown? Wow. That's sick.
Isn't that amazing?
That is so
Okay,
cool.
go around to the front.
Whoa. Oh, wait, these slide?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Isn't that wild?
So good.
I know. Okay, I obviously know you're so talented, but like, what an honor to have this in our house.
It was
So
the perfect first project.
I'm so excited for this series. I'm so excited whoever gets to win one of your beautiful creations. Yeah, this is incredible. Thank you.
Thank you.
So much. Wow.
All right, now it's part of the video where I talk about what I learned and what I could do differently. Holy moly, this thing was a beast. There's so many different accessories and little details that went into this piece that was really kind of like the culmination of like my entire like DIY history working with Alexandra. We did some tiling, we did some wooden shelves, we put in some battery operated lights, some decorative knobs, used fluted glass. There's just so much that went into this thing. And I think one thing that I would do differently, the one thing I didn't do was like pretend to use it like they would be using it in their kitchen. So when I did go to Alexandra's place and we started putting things away on the shelves and stuff, I noticed that when you pull out the shelves, there's nothing on the back of the shelves to prevent the items from like falling off. I probably should have put like a rail or a piece of wood on the back side of the shelf just to act as like a little wall to prevent things from falling off. Overall, like I'm just so pleased with how this thing turned out. It was such a perfect IKEA flip, and for such a deserving person as well. Like Alexandra's wanted to tackle this IKEA island for so long. I know that she genuinely is very happy with how it turned out. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode as much as I did, and I want to do more. So if you have a problem in your space that needs a custom DIY solution, follow the link in the description to apply if you're in Toronto. Okay, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.